taking a look back at your first alert forecast for today. We have a first alert action day. We've been talking about that wind. We have meteorologist Mallory Schnell with us because this isn't the only impact that we're going to see. It's not like we're just going to have a windy day and then it's all over, all fun again.
It's really the beginning of quite a long trek.
It's an active week.
Yeah.
We're going to have some rain chances off and on. We're going to have some heavy snow in the mountains, 12 to 20 inches in some spots up on Mount Lemmon. But yeah, much cooler temperatures as well.
That's a lot. I was like, that's a lot of snow.
It is a lot of snow. So we got a lot of moisture to work with, and even more so up in the mountains. So you certainly want to pay attention to the weather this week. It's going to be an active one. This is a look at our weather headlines for today. Once again, the big picture here, wind advisory from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pretty much all of southern Arizona dealing with wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour, sustained winds 25 to 35 miles per hour. Rain and mountain snow chances, as we mentioned, do return off and on, really today through Saturday, and then much cooler temperatures. Our average high is 68 for this time of year. We'll try to be around that today, but after that point, we are 10 to 15 degrees cooler than normal. So here's those winter weather alerts that I was talking about. The pink is a winter storm warning, above 7,000 feet in elevation, 12 to 20 inches of snow. You put 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gust on top of that, you have blowing snow, low visibility. Do not try to drive within the mountains this evening, tonight, and into tomorrow. In the purple, that's down to the south, a winter weather advisory. That's that step below a winter storm warning. 6 to 12 inches of snowfall, similar elevation, similar wind gusts, so still travel not advised there either. Latest look at the radar, most of us are still dry, so that rain kind of on the outside, the atmosphere trying to get saturated. We do have lots of cloud cover, but the bulk of the rain still far off to our west. We'll reintroduce some rain chances gradually starting at lunchtime, taking us off and on through the afternoon and evening. Of course, it's not going to rain all day, but you're going to probably feel the wind first and then see the rain move in later. High staying cool in the 50s and 60s as a result. Scattered showers and a few storms will take us into tonight and into tomorrow. Now your 7-day forecast here today, tomorrow, first alert action days, due to the wind, due to the rain, isolated storms as I mentioned. 50, staying much cooler, especially Wednesday through Saturday, with a few more rounds of rainfall possible for Thursday and Saturday. And then we do start to dry things out Sunday through next week. That will allow our temperatures to warm right back up. And you can see 65 degrees on Monday, still below normal, but more of those 70s could reappear as we head into next week.
Now, Mallory, we want to take a look at this real quick. We just got this up. This is Los Angeles. So when we're
Live
talking
look.
about the winds, everything that they've seen there, the rain obviously soaking the ground, making it easier for trees to topple over. But when we have winds moving in, a wind advisory, is this something that we could even remotely see the possibility for over the next 24 hours?
I mean, a few different things here. So obviously our vegetation a lot different in the desert. We don't have these big trees, and a lot of the rain doesn't really seep into the ground as much, just due to the kind of sand and soils that we have. It tends to run off. So we have a better chance of seeing the washes running, things of that nature, rather than trees falling down or anything like that. But as you mentioned, when you get rounds and rounds of rain, it doesn't take as much wind to knock trees down because the ground is already saturated. So that's what they're seeing in California. Of course, major improvements from the last few years when they had major drought in California. That has pretty much been erased. But now you kind of have the other side of that, the other extreme, I guess you could say. So lots of wind there, but as you mentioned, really the saturation and the big amounts of rain kind of caused that to be so much worse and likely what we will see here in southern Arizona.
Okay, but let's keep in mind, so we actually showed some video from California earlier where we saw someone who drove through a bunch of water and then ended up having to be rescued on the top of his car. We could see something like that.
To an extent, yeah. So, you know, the few areas in town where we have those washes that always seem to flow when it rains, don't drive through washes, you know the drill. Of course, it's a lot more drastic in monsoon when we have flash flooding because you have a lot more moisture during the summer compared to the winter. But year-round, stay smart. Don't drive through flooded roadways, et cetera, et cetera. We shouldn't have to say that, but
I think your defenses get kind of down too when you haven't seen rain in a long time. Like obviously monsoon, you're kind of like heightened awareness for the rains and the flooding. But I think that people kind of, you get a little lax in the winter. It's a little bit cooler. You're like, oh, not a huge concern.
Yeah, and you have that wind too. I know around this area, particularly where the station is, sometimes you see tumbleweeds and things like that. So
don't drive over those.
Be aware of like what you're driving around. If there's any kind of debris in the road, be smart, be safe, etc.
Make good choices.
Yeah, etc. Thank you, Valerie.